What is up everyone? On this tutorial I'll be showing you how to soft mod your Wii, and all you need is an SD card, an SD card reader, a computer and some patience as well. There will be 3 steps to this, and the first step is to install the Homebrew browser, and this will make your Wii fully soft modded. The second step is to install a games loader, and we'll be installing D2X custom iOS's, and the third step is to copy and play our Wii backups or GameCube backups. The first thing what you want to do is you want to make sure that your Wii is at the current time and date. So you need to make sure, if you haven't turned your Wii on for a long time, to just check its time and date, because we need it to be the current time in order to do the soft mod. We also need to be connected to the internet, so make sure you set up your wireless or wired connection. So I've already done that here, and the date and time is right, but you can change it under settings. And also need to make sure that your version is at least version 4.3. The E doesn't matter, or the letter, the N doesn't matter. I think you can, other regions are U, but the most important thing is that it's on 4.3, and if it isn't, to just do a system update. This should already be up to date. With the system being updated, all we need to do next is find out our MAC address for the Wii, and we need to use that MAC address for the website, which I'll show you in a second. So if you just go on Wii settings, internet, and then console information, so we need this address here in order to soft mod the Wii. So note this down, and then the next step is we'll go onto the PC and I'll show you the website where we put the MAC address. Okay, once you have got onto this website here, please.hackme.com, and there will be a link in the description for this website. Choose your system menu version, so mine is 4.3E, so they're all 4.3, but make sure the N letter is the same as your console. Now go ahead and enter the MAC address. Okay, so just double check that you've got that right. Make sure bundle the Hackme installer for me is checked. Next, click I am not a robot, and we can cut either one of these, it doesn't matter, they both do the same thing. I'm just going to cut the red wire. Now our Letterbomb has been downloaded. So I've got the letterbomb.zip and I've put it onto my SD card, and this is a 32GB standard SD card. You need to make sure that the SD card isn't too fast, because I don't think the Wii will recognize a super fast SD card. And you can use any size just for the Homebrew. You can use a 1GB SD card, that's totally fine. So I've put this onto the root of my SD card, which is formatted to FAT32. I have extracted all the files from the Letterbomb on here onto the root, and this is pretty much how you want to leave it as. You can delete the Letterbomb zip folder, but leave the rest of the files on here. And now we're going to insert this SD card onto the Wii. Alright, so the SD card is inside the Wii, and all you got to do is go onto your messages, and then we want to go back one day, and then you should see the Letterbomb message here. Just click on that, and then this screen will pop up. You don't need to do anything, just let it load, and then a warning will come up, say if you paid for the software then you should contact this website. So this software or Softmod is free and you shouldn't need to pay for it. This does take a while for this to resume, so just wait a second and then you should see a button saying 1. I'll press 1 to continue. So we don't really have to do much here apart from press and continue. You don't need to worry about boot me unless you want to save your Wii's NAND just in case you break your console or mess around with something else, but that's kind of like another tutorial, how to set up boot me and how to set up the Wii NAND's backup and restore. In this case we're just going to press continue, and then we want to install the Homebrew channel now. So once it's installed, just press continue, and then we want to go down to exit. Don't need to worry about the log files. This should just load back to the Homebrew channel, and there is actually nothing on here. There's no apps, so don't worry if you are surprised that there's nothing on here, because we haven't actually installed any apps yet. So we can actually just exit this by pressing the home button and then exit to system menu. And this will also give you a channel, the Homebrew, and this will be basically your forwarder to all your apps that you will install in the future. So every time you need to tinker with any Homebrew software, you need to go into the Homebrew channel, load this up, choose whatever apps you have. So right now we will go back onto the computer and install Wiiflow to be able to load games. Now it's time to download our custom iOSs and also the D2X cIOS installer, and we want to go onto this website here, Wii.guide-cIOS, and this will be pretty much up to date. You won't have to worry about any of this being incompatible or out of date iOSs, because if you follow some other YouTube guides out there, they will most likely be out of date, and you'll come across a bunch of issues when trying to play your Wii backups. But ensuring that you're following this guide here, you shouldn't come across any issues along the way. It's not too hard. All you have to do is we need to download the D2X cIOS installer here. Just click that. That will instantly download. I'm going to do this as well. You don't have to do this, but this is just if you have issues with your Wi-Fi, you can manually install the iOS database here. Only if you have problems connecting to Wi-Fi, you can do it this way. So just download the NUS downloader. This will have all the iOS's offline. So select database. We need to basically follow this. This is what we need to install. These will be the WAD files, and we're gonna basically get all these files and then put them onto the root of our SD card. Once you have those two downloaded, I've extracted the NUSD mod. So open that and then open the .x file. You can just double click on that. So we will be downloading the database from this. Click on database, iOS. We need to locate 56 and then version 5661. Ensure that pack WAD is checked and the patch iOS is unchecked. Start NUS download. Go back to your NUSD mod folder, scripts, I think, titles. And these are all the custom iOSs that we have downloaded. We need the WAD files from each folder, just in case. Copy that. Just paste it here for a second. Do the same for the rest of them. We need to locate iOS WAD files. Paste that here. Oops. Go back onto your SD card. Oh yes, we just need to put this under the root of our SD card. We also need to drag D2X cIOS onto our apps folder. Here is our folder. Just double check. So long as version 11, D2X version 11 is here, we are all good. We can copy this folder under our apps and then yeah, D2X. So that's good to go. We can install that now. Let's head back onto the Wii. SD card is back in the Wii. We can now go onto Homebrew channel. Start. And this should come up here. We just need to press A on that and then load this. Press any button to continue. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is select cIOS. Scroll to D2X version 11 beta 1. Press down 1. And then the base will be 38, the slot will be 48, and the cIOS revision is always going to be 65535. Once you're happy with that, press A to continue. This will use up the 248 slot and install our custom iOS. So click A. And this will take a while to upload onto your SD card. Make sure that your SD card isn't locked as well. This won't write if your SD card is locked. So this shouldn't take too long. So you can see it's green where it says 248. That means it is successful. We can press A to continue. We need to do this another 3 times. So the next values are basically the same for the custom iOS. The base is going to be 56 and then the slot is 49, and we're keeping the version the same. So press A for that one, do the same thing. The next values are, the base is 57 and then the slot is 250. And now the last one is base is 58 and slot is 251. Okay, now once that is done, the iOSs should be successfully installed. We can just exit this. We can head over to the PC now, and we need to prep the hard drive first. Let's go back onto the PC now. Alright, so the next step is to download Wiiflow, and this is an app where you would load all your games and GameCube games and programs. It will also fetch all the screenshots and stuff, metadata for each game. So again, follow this guide, wii.guide-wiiflow. Head over to the download section. So it's complete. I'm not too sure if it's version 5.4 or is that a different one. Grab your Wiiflow zip file, just unzip it. Okay, there's 2 folders here. Guessing let's just take these folders, apps and Wiiflow. Just double check that they have extracted correctly. Looks like they have, so let's copy that and put that onto the root of our SD card. So that's what your SD card should look like. Apps with the Wiiflow folder, and there's a subfolder here which I guess will be for the other files. Now I'm going to just prep the hard drive now. So I have a 250 gigabyte 2.5 inch hard drive, and that's connected via a splitter, Y split cable. You can actually just use a USB stick as well and also play games from the SD card. But in my case, I am using a hard drive just because it's the cheapest way. So you can get like a terabyte hard drive for next to nothing nowadays. You can use a USB stick, although I think there's compatibility issues with that. For the same price of a terabyte hard drive, you'll get a 256 USB stick, maybe a 512. You'll have to find like a spreadsheet where it will tell you which USB sticks are recommended. I'm pretty sure a 512 USB stick. It will cost a lot more than a 1TB 2.5 hard drive, and you can obviously use a 2TB hard drive as well and have like Wii games, emulation games and GameCube games, and just have it all in one, rather than spending a lot on USB sticks. So I plugged in my hard drive. Your best option is to basically start from the beginning, and this is what I'm doing now and showing you. I've typed in CMD, so to bring up the control panel on Windows 10. This will also work on Windows 11. I'm typing disk part, no spaces. I'm then typing list disk. So what I'm doing now is I am making sure the 250 gig hard drive is completely wiped from everything, starting from the beginning. So it's disk 5 for me. You need to make sure you select the correct disk because you don't want to delete any of your hard drives. So I want to select disk 5. Disk 5 is now selected. I want to just clean this disk. Clean. And this will wipe everything on the hard drive. Starting from beginning, we can exit command prompt. Now we want to right click on the Windows button and then hit disk management. You want to bring this up. Now this should come up, the initialize disk. We want to choose master boot record. Click OK. So instead of GPT, we want to click on the master boot. Now just click new simple volume, click next, assign a letter, click next. Okay, that's already mapped. Let's go for G. Whoops. Click next. Now this is an important part because we're going to use a different program to format this drive to a FAT32. So we don't want to format, because at the moment we can't choose FAT32 because it's too big of a drive. So just click do not format this volume, click next and then finish. So it should just be a raw drive now. The next thing is we need Wii Backup Manager. So again, go on to wii.guide-Wii Backup Manager, scroll down until you find this, just click on that, this will download. Once it's downloaded, extract it. Use the Win64, so double click that. So this tool is used to basically transfer all of your Wii files onto your drive, and it will get all the game titles correctly, I think. Basically makes all the folders for you. This will basically sort everything out for you. So first thing we want to is click on tools. We want to format, click on whichever drive that is for you. So it's G for me. Now the old way of doing this is making this into a WBFS drive. So what happened there? What happened? Basically what that would mean is if you plug this in onto your PC, you wouldn't be able to mess around with any of the files on the hard drive. So we want to make sure this is checked as FAT32. And using this program eliminates the use of GUI formatter or FAT32 formatter. So a bit of a quicker way of just doing this all in one. Just hit click start, don't need to worry about the cluster size. Doesn't take long, and then here we go, it's given us the WBFS folder, and this is where your games will go. So for drive 1, I am choosing the drive I want to transfer the games to. I click on files here, I add a file. So I have a bunch of Wii games here, so let's go for Mario Galaxy. So this is how it should be laid out. So you got the game name, and then you got the game ID .wbfs. If this isn't the correct game ID, then Wiiflow or USB GX loader will not recognize this as a game. So I need to just open this. Another thing as well with Wii Backup Manager, you can use this to split, I think, to split some of the games. So some games may be like over 4 GB. Well, if they are, then you're gonna have issues transferring them. Basically, this will split the game and then you'll be able to transfer it onto your drive. Right, so I've got Super Mario Galaxy here. I'm clicking this, making sure it's ticked, pressing transfer, pressing drive 1, and this typically takes a couple minutes. So once this is transferred, I should be good to go. You can then basically just disconnect your USB drive, plug it back into the Wii, and it should recognize the game. Okay, as you can see, we have our games here now, and then if we go back onto our drive, click WBFS, and this is how it's arranged our folders. Got the game name and the game ID code. Double click that, and that's the code there. So what we do now is we'll transfer back onto the Wii. So we got the hard drive plugged in and the SD card is back in as well. Let's go back onto the Homebrew channel. Click on Wiiflow. Before I do that, because I did make some changes, so you know, let's just try it, because I can delete the save data because I had previously downloaded an older version. I don't know if that's going to conflict with the latest version. So here's our games that we recently just transferred. We can click on this gear option, so we can bring up the settings. Let's go ahead and download the covers and banners for this. So this will gather screenshots, box art and stuff from gametdb.com. So if you have a ton of games, this will actually take quite some time. Okay, that's done now. If your games do not show up, then you can click game partitions. It's shown up as USB 1, which is what I want it to show up as. If you got your games on an SD card, then you want to switch this to SD. In my case, I have my games on a USB. GameCube partition, again, I would click USB if you plan to have your games on the hard drive or USB. Or if yours is on SD, leave that as B, but I'm clicking USB. So it looks like it's got all the cover art for our games here. If we click on one, it's like a short video preview up here. Kind of like a neat touch to this. We can press play, and there we go. Highly recommend trying this game out if you haven't already. This is definitely one to try out on your Wii. Right, so let's back out and go onto the menu. So yeah, that's pretty much how you softmod your Wii using the most current ISOs, and everything is all up to date. I mean, this may change in a year's time, who knows, might be a different way of doing this. But this is the most easiest, I would say, easiest way, and you're not going to come across any errors if you follow this up-to-date tutorial. If you do have any issues with your games, you can just go onto the settings of the game and try a different ISO. So if it isn't loading, you can kind of troubleshoot some of these ISOs, testing which one works for that current game. So that's pretty much it. I think next time I will maybe make another tutorial of how to make a forwarder. So instead of me having to keep clicking the Homebrew channel to reach Wiiflow, I can make a shortcut and it will be on the Wii channel. So yeah, if you have any questions, then please comment down below and I'll try to reply. If this tutorial has been useful for you, then please like and subscribe.